is just horrible. It's everything, it's all the worst of Alabama stereotype, quite frankly. It is a cruel law. It is punitive. It is so far overreaching for whatever perceived problem we have with undocumented residents in Alabama, that it's impossible to comprehend the use of such a, it's like dropping an atomic bomb on a Kwanzaa hut. Jose Antonio Vargas was here a few weeks ago, and he was talking to people about undocumented people, and he stopped this one woman and he said, you know, I'm undocumented, you don't want me to be deported? And she said, no, we're not talking about you. You know, and that's it. No, they would never be talking about the person they knew. It's always the person they don't know who's in a drug cartel and a gang and has one of the Attorney General's weapons and is
on welfare.
Yeah, on welfare and Medicaid, and spends every evening in the ER. There are undocumented people who commit crimes. There are Americans who go to other countries and commit crimes too. That's a separate issue altogether. People who commit crimes, they have to pay for their crimes, right? I mean, that's just...
Absolutely.
But being here and trying to improve your life, quite frankly, trying to have a better world, that is like the U.S. value. I think it's absolutely that. First off, the rhetoric is the same. Illegal is illegal. In the civil rights era, it was the law is the law. All right, so the rhetoric is the same. We're hearing the same kind of rhetoric. The other thing is you've got to look at, even though the law says, and I hear this all the time, it says you can't racially profile. That's what the law says. Oh, that's just so much bunk. Because what does the law do? We've already seen examples of whole kids being pulled out and taken to the gym to fill out immigration papers, or immigration questionnaires is what they were before that was stayed. We've seen where Latinos were walking into a truck stop, hadn't been stopped for anybody, and someone called the police and said they're here, you know, and the police came up and confronted these people. The only reason these things are happening is because of how someone looks. It's not how, you know, they're not pulling aside, you know, tall, blonde Swedes and saying, you know, let me see your papers. It's always someone who looks a certain way, and that is racist. Governor Bentley says, you know, there's not a racial component to it, that it's not like civil rights, and Scott Beeson will say the same thing, and Mickey Hammond will say the same thing. They can say it all they want. What does it do? And when it creates a situation like that, then that's what it does. We never knew we had an immigration problem until we had to have an immigration law. And then the rhetoric was around, we've got this, everybody's, you know, all these Alabamians are unemployed because, you know, the undocumented workers have come in and taken their jobs, you know, all those great jobs out from the fields picking tomatoes and sitting on top of roofs, putting on shingles, and those great jobs that Alabamians are lined up to do. No, we didn't have an immigration problem. We don't have that many immigrants in the state, period. Undocumented immigrants, much less. And it's just not really a significant problem. Not one, certainly, that needed the kind of overreaction that we have with this particular law.